are like really radical and they read my shit and they're like, oh my god, you're the biggest sexist alive, I hate you, you're so misogynistic.
My instincts are kind of fucking sexist, and I have to catch myself sometimes making comments and stuff going,
society hasn't quite, you know, we've got this sexist idea that men are safe, you don't catcall them, but women, those are sexual. And he smokes too much, and he's a fat guy, and he's a bit sexist, and he's got issues, but he's
two guys, isn't that a bit fucking sexist? So they bring on another woman into the cast, someone they know who can act well, who's got great
racist terminology. If you're going to use Islamophobic terminology, if you're going to use sexist terminology, then you're sexist tropes. Even George Lucas sci-fi with sexist tropes and bad effects and not much happening. I like that more, because you extrapolate dogs having their tails cut off into this sexist dystopia. If I'm pretty certain that I'm, you know, not a dickhead. I'm not a sexist based on the evidence available. The fact that the guy you're talking to on the internet is a sexist or a racist or a fucking homophobe or some, like, of sexist attitudes, you know, certainly, like, sexist attitudes that exist in, like, places like Iran, who behaves like, you know, society of, you know, sexist periods wanted women to be treated, so long as you know, not. It's not a sexist story. Or at least it's not a story that I'm saying that, yeah, this shit is fucking juvenile, fucking sexist crap. And this is shit that kind of
feminism knows we're a sexist society, and it is about challenging that it is about
death, you know, because yes, alright, this is a sexist dystopia where, you know, women are to be and they're racists and sexist, and I think you'll find that they are everything that is wrong with the entire, and it's not, you know, a lot of it is genuine sexist abuse, is genuine, just like, no, but you be woman. Myself, funnily enough, have problems with the kind of sexist portrayal of Marion, in that in the books it was a paedophilic relationship. The art is good, and honestly, this comic book less sexist than the TV series. And it turns out we're just as fucking sexist as the masculine jocks were, except possibly more so, because the masculine characters. You are sexist, your work is sexist, shut the fuck up. So I've now kind of experienced that same reaction. When people say all men are rapists, it means that you are sexist. And is listen to anything that is fucking racist or sexist or fucking homophobic. If anything, that's arguably more sexist, right? To say, well, yes, I know there are policy reasons to have an issue. I'm not writing this sexist dystopia because, yeah, that's totally how the world works, right? I mean, you know, women, I am doing when I am looking there is I'm going, oh, that's bullshit! That is bullshit! That is sexist fucking bullshit, because that is cultural indoctrination. That I don't want you to, then, you know, there probably wouldn't be a sexist dystopia in the first place. But But I do not think it is a horrific and sexist thing. I think the horrific and sexist thing is that we do not have.
I mean, school is actually a very sexist place. So certainly, you know, the school I went to, because basically, oh, it's not, you know, even by our fucked up sexist society standards, it's not that big a deal. Ah, but it's weird. Is that there are actual racists and actual sexists and actual fucking Nazis. Right? There are very few genuine devil worshippers.
Adults and people get influenced by this. You can't have the Doctor being sexist. You've got to write it differently. Of this, well, not as much, but you know, they're prisoners of this sexist system as well, because the lead guard,
right? There are already people that see me as transphobic, that see me as sexist, that see me as dangerous, right? I don't entirely get feminism, and the habit of adding man to things to coin a sexist term annoys me. But for the most part, I understand that feminism is a broader irresistible to idiots. Oh dear, there's a woman feminist, therefore I will be sexist towards her dear.
and I do it, there's always somebody who is like, you have sexist characters. You are sexist. Your work is sexist. Shut the fuck up. Do it because we are utterly fucking sexist. We do it because we are writing what we know, and what we know is the fiction written by. I had people saying, oh no, they'll never cancel it. I had people saying, oh no, Doctor Who's completely sexist, and Peter Capaldi said they're gonna change it.
The very fact that conservatives are, you know, ableist, sexist, racist bastards means that we don't hear very consciously taking pleasure in upsetting people, in being as racist, sexist, and fucking arsehole-ish as they can be. Because I'm sort of accidentally, like, fairly sexist in terms of what I listen to and read, in that, like, I'm transphobic. Or indeed sexist as fuck, which, you know, it sort of is sexist as fuck. You know, but of course it's the conservatives bringing it up, saying, well, sexist bias though.
And I don't think I'm sexist. I like to think that I am a feminist. But
want to seem more racist, more sexist, and more transphobic to annoy people because they think it's funny, and in the process of which to maintain giving benefits to men, right? And yes, part of this system is sexist individuals who run the system, who are, like, somehow incredibly autistic and incredibly racist, sexist, and what have you. And they also don't allow people to enter the country who happen to be racist or sexist or homophobic. So goodbye, Miss Miggins. Enjoy the Algarve. Being there is generally exploited in this way. And then you have a whole load of sexist bastards who will, and the BBC are gonna say, they're gonna say it's sexist. Because if they have an option that allows them to avoid seeing the wood for the fucking changing society so that it is no longer sexist, but for the reasons I'm about to, you know, explain, or a black person, because just, you know, 4chan is fucking racist and sexist. Because let's face it,
here, do some research and figure out whether I'm being a sexist twat or whether I actually have a fucking point. And writers for their genders and races, okay? It is not sexist or egotistical to suggest that I should not be the champion.
But to see the conservatives say, this is gross sexist bias! No, this is honestly about the fact stop. If you are a Nazi, if you are a racist, if you are,
if you are sexist, if you are someone who is vehemently
pull crap out of their asses in order to be able to say that my racist and sexist opinion is correct and it isn't. I realise this is in a sense kind of sexist and racist thing to do, what I'm about to suggest, but I think what we need,
they can be great works of art that are not sexist but fail the Bechdel test. And equally, like, I know. And so you immediately leap to, oh, well, he's a feminist, so he'll say sexist things. He's anti-racism, so he'll say... I like sci-fi. Even George Lucas sci-fi. Even George Lucas sci-fi with sexist tropes. Even George Lucas sci-fi with sex. I'm a woman, and I'm gonna fucking make it in this goddamn sexist industry. And that goes even doubly if you're saying, oh, and yeah. But, they are genuinely, like, a sexist patriarchal thing. So, this idea of, having a... about his perspective on Gamersgate, and his perspective is, fucking it's a whole load of sexist douchebags. But, despite...
it's going to be awesome. Meanwhile, I'm writing deliberately sexist characters to make a different kind of point. But
in the process of which we are bringing about a revival of actual racists, sexists, transphobic people and Islamophobic people. Because woman feminist, then congratulations, ding ding ding, we know how to get you, sexist misogyny to the fucking rescue.
More than once, someone has gone through my work, line by line, saying, this is sexist, this is sexist, this is sexist, this is sexist.
I have pissed off bigots, racists, sexists. I've pissed off the transphobic. I have pissed off American Trump.
I'm not... I don't think of myself as a sexist person. I am someone who thinks... You're a sexist. You're a sexist fighting for the equality of your sex. That means you're a hypocrite. That means... Stop writing immediately, because that is so overdone, and oh my god, that is so sexist. Yeah, but you're kind of cutting. They aren't doing as good as the sexist douchebag who created a conspiracy to kill and eat women. Are going to be producing works that aren't in some way able to be labelled as sexist, because it's just, we are not.
To... that we do need a non-sexist movement for men's rights that is just like, hey, men...
They came with sexist insults. They came with, oh, well, you're a man, so therefore you're gonna hate
the bully than seeing a female feminist and going, well, I should be sexist to her. That would be fucking funny. A rather sexist and misogynistic video, but hopefully at least light and fluffy talking.
Yes, I know, but sexist attitudes are stuff that could be replicated in a realistic setting. Caring when our attempts to fight for equality turn out sexist. Stop caring because you have the advantage. Again, inspired by sexist other people, and this is how the cycle of privilege hands itself down for indoctrination.
White race, which is sort of like saying, I'm not sexist, I am only a men's rights person because I am also a women.
That they are being fought by the Logicios, an order set up by the sexist douchebag, the Farschnook, and run as communist here, alright? If Gamersgate was nothing more than, some great sexist thing, it would not have chosen gaming equality for women. So if you're against that, you're a sexist douchebag. So yeah, you're a feminist. Yeah, you're a feminist. Feminists fighting against sexists, being prejudiced against them because of their gender, and
to go away and Google something, he's gonna come up with racist results. You tell a sexist to go away and Google something, he's gonna come back with sexist. And it's like, well, how come it's sexist when we take
look like fucking lesbian. I have received sexist comments. I have been raped and beaten and threatened with death on so many levels. Okay, this is something that, you know, it's sexist. It is something that misunderstands how war is fought. Standard term. You don't need to be fucking sexist and saying, he'll underestimate her because she's a girl, to have her get close enough to have.
So it was clearly very, you know, sexist, and, you know, women didn't have the vote, and there was all this kind of horrible stuff.
And why we feel like cutting ourselves because of this sexist society which is so negative against us. Are pieces of fiction sexist, and are those writers of those fiction sexist?
I'm not gonna become an alt-right guy, right? I don't care how many people call me sexist or misogynistic or anti-Semitic or trans.
Isn't racist and sexist, and, you know, if you are a person who kind of believes that, you know, you shouldn't feel like you have to. Unfortunately, because we live in a sexist society, still, you know, they're...
Right? Indeed, it arguably looks more sexist now than it perhaps is, right? I mean, maybe that's just a case of
be the racist, bigoted, sexist shithead that, you know, future generations will be ranting about, you know.
My racist and sexist opinion is correct, and it isn't actually racist or sexist. Like, people just pull crap out of you in the sylph when they're white, is that the world is sexist, and, you know, it's nice, you see, because I like not feeling like I'm a massive sexist, and that I want to rage at this stupid bimbo pretending to be a radical feminist, saying, fuck dude, you're writing is so sexist, man. Fuck feminism because I'm gonna make you what sort of mood I'm in. But the point is, if you come here and you have any sexist bile that you need to vent, and you vent it at me, and are those writers of those fiction sexist? I am iffy about it. I have complaints about that. So essentially, you know, Mr. TARDIS's sort of continual like, well, this is fucking stupid and sexist. Like, I haven't actually fangirls who will call this show sexist for River Song having lost her agency, or call the show that can be read as pretty darn sexist. I mean, they've basically one female
and yet the world still looks very sexist, right? Indeed, it arguably looks more sexist.
But then, to be fair, it's a sexist dystopia, and if the men were going to listen to the women when they said, don't do that, I don't... Are the same people who will call Doctor Who sexist because River Song lost her agency when she became Amy Pond's, and kind of, you know, a parody of, you know, how fucking sexist those things are, and, you know, sort of the fact that he.
Could that at the same time be linked with feminism? Could you have a non-sexist men's rights movement if at the same...
You say my work is sexist though, then I get defensive.
Nukes, and they are sexist bastards who will literally go around basically enslaving pretty women and turning them...
And I kind of get to see that, but it's like, you fangirls who will call Doctor Who sexist because they don't have a female, the right for the Doctor to be sexist, to be racist, and to be homophobic, because you know what? He's a fucking alien. In the 2010s or whatever, writing was really sexist because, oh gee, look at this guy's work. Of course, I know I can now expect a bunch of sexist, racist, anti-immigration, pro-austerity fuckers to fuck you. Like, so much about the Bible is creepy and fucked up and just sexist in the worst ways. Fucking. What do I have to be afraid of a bunch of fucking sexist fuckers? I mean, that's not to say I won't delete the questions was just, you're a sexist, mate. And yeah, I know that isn't helpful, and yet I've been doing that as necessarily a sexist ideology that says, I am better than you, I will look after you. Okay. Why does it bring to mind this sexist dystopia? Okay,
But it does work for women in society because the society is sexist! Yes, it is, ladies and gentlemen. And yeah, I am fucker. This is why you can never fucking touch me, because the thing about living in a sexist world is that
work that probably gets me branded most as a sexist, and that is the Farsh Nuke. Because the Farsh Nuke is a parody of Doctor Who. This is what feminism is. If you do not stand by it, you're a sexist. Point 2. If you have had bad experience and cunts, because you know what? I've been threatened with rape too. I've received sexist comments from men saying
fundamentally racist or fundamentally sexist because under regulated egalitarianism, these things are being fought for.
Section. Give me your sexist fucking comments, but they must be against explicitly me. And I see you're a misandrist. You're a sexist. You're a sexist fighting for the equality.
All violence bad is actually quite sexist against women, because it's saying that the only
by using the tropes I know from popular culture, except they're all fucking sexist. So I can't do that. So
it's funny, or because they honestly think it's the case, will back any movement that is sexist, right? There are people who, when they
encountered phenomenon, like it would be bred into us to be sexist. Although the bowl that is overflowing and put it into the one that's not. Why is it sexist to why is it racist to
anti being called a sexist? Because apart from anything else, people, when you say I can't write women, is in a male form at least, kind of has to be, to a certain extent, a sexist dick, because he is representing that idea of essentially these are racist and racists and sexual abusers and, you know, sexist bastards, but these people, I know them, they're nice. They're scientific studies, and it turns out the world is pretty fucking sexist. Okay? So, you know what? We need women to be writing. I am a product of this, you know, sexist society. So as much as I have progressive views, there's this kind of sexist attitude that oh, you know, men are big and strong and tough and they're violent, and women on Tumblr will stop hating me and calling me sexist. Yes, we'll make it feminist thing set in the past so that I can redo over the old legal. Yeah, it's like they established the NHS, but there were a bunch of racist, sexist, homophobic cunts saying this is sexist, 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 this is sexist. And it's just like, and I don't mean in that kind of sexist, oh, well, women go in the kitchen and make sandwiches. I mean literally in the sense that, oh, and so people who, funnily enough, don't consider themselves sexist douchebags, tend to call the year the tropes that were created by the utterly fucking sexist. We don't do it because we are utterly fucking sexist. We do it because it would never be allowed in this sexist dystopia. Because yeah, okay, you have the explicit thing of, you know, yeah, I'm totally not a racist for saying this. I'm totally not a sexist for saying it. You know, yes, I don't think sexist industries continue even when they aren't run by a majority of sexist people, is because, well, the system works. Who are defined by other male writers, who are defined by other male writers, who are defined by utterly sexist pigs. Because that's it. If you go back far enough, The Great Gatsby. Fucking stupid, fucking sexist, fucking piece of shit. And I'm not gonna pretend like there won't have been a sexist element to it, because this is the world we live in, right? People teaching you how to pick up girls with a condescending, oh, that's so sexist. Oh, God, that's horrible. I'm gonna go over. I'm not gonna pretend like there won't have been an element towards this that was in some way sexist. But to,
you know, I pat myself on the back for that, and it's like still sexist as fuck, right? Still a story in which, you know, submissive women are like, and that's why kind of these sexist industries continue even when they aren't run by a. Well, basically, when feminists say Stephen Moffat is such a sexist hack because look at the way he writes Clara. Horrible shit. She has been racist, she has been sexist, she has bombed countries, she's a very nasty woman who does not give a shit. And, you know, and there are sexist values and choices that go on. And, you know, I'm prepared to admit, you know, the other factors tip the scales so that you effectively end up with a sexist dystopia where men are just freely
drug bullshit and were committing immoral actions and were being sexist against men, but were just like, but you see, feminism is about women, and you see, women.
And say, well, you're being bossy. And she goes, then at most she goes, well, you're a sexist. When it's, it's.
Woman might go away and get married. Some sexist guy might think, right? So you don't need to pay them as much.
It's not calling out the radical feminists who are being sexist and abusive. Feminism is just saying, well, no, of course that's not us.
Be a transphobic monster. Because I don't want to be a sexist monster. Because I don't want to say things that make these people.
You're a racist, you're a sexist, you're an egotistical prick, you're a racist, you're a sexist, you're Adolf Hitler in a week, you are.
Welcome you into the family. Plus, it makes me feel less of a sexist bigot. I snorted and said, I have drunk the freshly spilled blood.
We are a sexist society. We are. And
therefore, you are a men's rights activist and a sexist and a misogynist, and I hate you. Men kill women. End of. And it. That's what I tell myself to make myself sleep at night. That we're not actually sexist. When we write the tropes
that sort of pull you out of the thing and make you go, well, you're all a load of sexist bastards. But it is a thing that is there that is just kind of like.
If the fiction that writers today are drawing on uses sexist tropes, then they're going to write the sexist tropes as well, because
it's that when the establishment starts using but they're sexist to defend themselves, then I think you have to examine yourself. It's you guys. It's you right-wing bigots. It's you racists and sexists, you people who support eugenics, are targeted specifically against me. If they are sexist insults specifically against me, fuck it. What do I have to be afraid? Hey, let's have a fucking discussion about whether being called Supergirl is sexist or anti-feminist, and it's like... And the Logicios are given sufficient bloody no to stop being so sadistic, sexist and immoral, and the Baumkirch's attempt at playing Napoleon is quashed and all the...
It's the big, you aren't just saying this is a sexist thing, you are saying outright that this man hates
films. I would have looked at it and I would have seen, it's racist. It is fucking sexist. It's got all of these fucking problems.
Original concept to work on, or they just go, but bad stuff happens to women, it's sexist. So I did a lot of research,
Tell a sexist to go away and Google something, he's gonna come back with sexist results. We train our media.
I can't write the tropes because that's sexist, but at the same time, I can't just ignore it because then it's something that I have problems with, because I'm about to say, this is also clearly a sexist statement. Okay, only the men have to go off.
Up the West of Dawning, less obviously sexist.
Need the world to say, hold the fuck up, we're being fucking sexist here, we need to get more women writers out. Is completely and utterly fucking sexist, and that's kind of the point. So I feel the kind of deep sort of spiritual, you know how in my writing, in my let's be honest, incredibly sexist writing about sort of the sylphs, and to accept that and cop to that, and frankly, if people are gonna call me sexist, right, considering the shit, alright, I'm truth. Here is the most scientifically empirical fact. You're a racist, you're a sexist, you're an egotistical prick, you're a racist, you're...
Like, I'm not going to, because I genuinely think the alt-right are a bunch of racist, sexist, homophobic, transphobic. That is arguably, you know, sexist. You know, because you're denying, you know, the true. They avoid kind of potentially sexist underlinings of, oh yeah, women are because a people isn't racist, sexist, what have you. A people is made of individual. I am making a video saying, well, racist and sexist and homophobic people, I see your point. But that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that lower class people, ooh, they're all sexist. And it's like, well, no, hang on. Women are better off under Jeremy Corbyn. It is, and it is actually quite a sort of sexist thing to sexist and arrogant thing to assume. Well, logically, I need enough to convince me that there was more to it than just racist, than just sexist douchebags. But it kind of, he ended it with like a damning piece.
In Maine wouldn't be happening because of, you know, like, it's a sexist dystopia with men on top.
Impossible to deny that America is fucking sexist when it's like, yes, we will vote for this incompetent fucking madman who is
saying something. Feminism means that's sexist. You being sexist, and I don't know why it is, but it's a thing. It is a was only possible because of this guy who is kind of a bit of a sexist prick, you know, who does like the ladies
in that regard. And let the arguments reign that I am a sexist pig, because, to be honest, that might be
a woman feminist. They cannot help but say something sexist because, ooh, glowing weak spot, right?
It's written by, you know, sexist nerds who were again inspired by sexist other people, and this.
So, essentially, am I a feminist? Am I a sexist? That's up to you guys to decide. I'm not going to label myself men really well. Okay? If we let white men write all the sexist, fucking racist shit they want to and just ignore them for a bit,